And what a beautiful day it is. Good morning, everybody. How you doing this morning? Happy Thursday. For those in the States, about to go into a long weekend. And yes, I am looking forward to it. Hey, we got a lot to go through today. Lots of things happening. A couple of updates on a couple stories that we've talked about over the last couple of days that are just things that make you go, Things that make you go, Things that make you go, Things that make you go. Anyway, I'll get out of that song. Are y'all ready? I am. Shall we do this thing? Johnny, how about some intro music? Please, right now, hit it.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Yes, that is me. And this is me. Stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel on this Thursday. Oops, hit the mic there. The 25th of May, 2023, just a weekend before Memorial Day weekend for those in the States. where we get an extra day off to go to mattress sales and get the early season tan, which I've already got my good start on. Anyway, hope you're having an excellent morning. I see some people are jumping into the chat here slowly but surely. And I know someone's name is Shirley in the background. But do me a favor. Tweet, Facebook, wherever else you do social media type stuff. Let people know we are here, just like a couple people already have, Somnambule Nation in particular, Simon Wolfwood and Tyler F. also tweeting out those links. I appreciate it, or retweeting those links, however you want to call it. So anyway, I am, I was on the Twitter's thing this morning, when I got to, when I was at work, because sometimes, when you do boring things, you can also pay attention to what's going on Twitter. And I caught a couple updates to a couple of stories. And like I said, we're going to talk about those because they're very, very interesting. Things that kind of gone viral in the last few days that, we're going to do that Paul Harvey thing, and now, the rest of the story. Anyway, so we'll get to those, and plus the main topic today, another hit piece, at least a hit headline, and some people aren't even taking it too well, including people who you would normally think, we can call whoever we want, whatever we want, and that's in the picture right up there. I know it's up there somewhere, and so we'll get to that shortly. But first, let's say good morning to the people who are in the chat. First, over on Rumble, Mike Savage first gets the bell and with the big old blarg. Also, good morning, Avocados Diabli. Next Gen Troll is in the house. I said Next Gen Troll if you didn't hear me over the music. I don't know what you can hear over my little sound effects because I haven't figured out how loud they are. I should probably go back and listen to the show once in a while. Also, good morning to Sully209. That's everyone on Rumble. That's a nice small number, a comfortable setting, intimate and whatsoever. Don't get too intimate over there though, because that's kind of gross, guys. Anyway, also on YouTube, first in the chat is Avocados Diabli who gets the bell. I see what you did there, Mike. You know how he is, and you know how you are. And so if you go to one side and he goes to the other, you're going to be first on one side. And you just got to make choices to see what you can get. So you get a bell too, but Avocados Diabli, yes. Okay, AD, I don't want to hear about you not wearing any pants. That's okay, because I'm not either. And I just, because I don't have to, because you can only see me from about my rib cage down in this setup. So... okay, too much information. Also, good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg. Sarah's in the house. Welcome. Going to lurk while the work out. Good morning to you too. Good morning, Tyrannus Alexandrius, the Invictus Lich, a.k.a. Tyre Alexander. Good morning, Attack Alpaca. Also, Lord Stanhope, what's up? Rest in peace, Ida May. Damn straight. Ida May, a total icon in... American music history. Good morning also to fake news expert. What's up, Trippy Liberty? What's up, my brother? Linda Hunter's in the house. Hopefully back asleep before the countdown. Commiserations on your election prospects. What are you going to do? Hell of a thing. Oh, yeah. It's going to get interesting, I tell you. Good morning also to... Tyler F's in the house. Simon Wolfwood's in the house. Don Julio, Gulf City Biker and Trash Man's in the house. Good morning, Septus Wolf. Good morning, Maddie. And maybe Ronan. I don't know. Ronan's probably driving right now. So anyway, David Duke Jr. does play for the Nets. Yeah, that's funny. There's a dude named David Duke who plays for is it the new Brooklyn Nets? Where are the Nets these days? They're in Brooklyn, right? That's Jay-Z's thing. Yeah, dude named David Duke. But he's a brother. He's not that David Duke. It's another David Duke. Plays for the Brooklyn Nets. And it's an unfortunate name that he is stuck with. But, maybe he'll make it, become famous, more famous, and take back the name David Duke. I don't know. Good morning, also Somnable Nation. I think I said it. Were you here earlier? Yeah, no? Okay, well, I said thank you already. Were you here when I said thank you for tweeting out the show? I hope you were. I appreciate that. Let's see. Oh, more notifications. Thank you to Midnight Cruise Shift Supervisor. That'd be Ty Alexander on Twitter. And wait a minute. Oh, we don't need another hero. We don't need to know the way home. All we want is life beyond the Thunderdome. All the children say, we don't need another hero. We don't need to know the way home. All we want is life beyond the Thunderdome. Yes, another great lyric by Tina Turner. And let's start with that because Tina Turner is one of those artists that I remember from being when I was a kid. Good morning, Shrapnel and Blue Eyed Scream, by the way. When I was a kid, a young kid, because she was pretty popular in the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s. She was, when she was still with Ike and Tina Turner, the Ike and Tina Turner Review. And I was a little kid. I didn't know much about anything, but I do remember seeing her and her dancers and them singing and doing Rolling on the River on the midnight special and shit like that. And, just a great, entertainer, Didn't think she had, I never thought she had the greatest voice. But she knew how to use the voice she had. And, remember from a little kid, and then in the 80s, she made a big comeback, with the, Private Dancer and We Don't Need Another Hero. And what's the big one? What's the one where, who needs a heart when a heart's be broken? What's love got to do with it? And she blew up again, just huge. And she's just this great music icon. In fact, some would even describe her as the queen of rock and roll, right? Just because everybody loves Tina Turner. And so it's sad to hear that she passed yesterday at 82 years old. And she was a gilf. Yeah, she remained, she kept herself in great shape. She was a phenomenal performer up until her last performances. I think it was 3-4 years ago when she stopped performing, maybe 4, or maybe even beyond that. I don't know. But a lot of tributes to Tina Turner on the internets today and yesterday. In fact, it was weird because I just got home from my afternoon gig. And apparently these notices, ABC put this out, and it was literally 12 minutes that they had posted the tweet. So anyway, lots of people doing tributes. Here's one from Brian Adams. Rest in peace, my dear Tina Turner. I'll be forever grateful for you bringing me on tour, going into the studio together, and most of all, being your friend. Thank you for being the inspiration to millions of people around the world. For speaking your truth. No, I don't know about that. I guess about her situation with her ex-husband, certainly. Morning, my favorite Canadian Jaeger pony. Speaking of Canada, since Brian Adams is making this tribute to her. Now, let's see. Some people are saying, 2 things missing from the obituaries about Tina Turner. Her commitment to Buddhism. Did not know that. Had no idea. Which he credited with saving her life, and this true story of abiding love, which, in my humble opinion, should bump all stories of her first husband. Okay, Tina's second marriage, to her only marriage, was to Edwin Bach, a Swiss music executive, 16 years her junior. Of course, him, she said, Erwin, who is a force of nature in his own right, has never been the least bit intimidated by my career, my talent, or my fame. In 2016, after a barrage of health problems, Tina's kidneys began to fail. A Swiss citizen by then, she had started preparing for assisted suicide when her husband stepped in. According to Tina, he said he didn't want another woman or another life. He gave her one of his kidneys, buying her the remainder of her time on this earth and perhaps closing a cycle which took her from a man who inflicted injury upon her to a man who willingly to inflict injury upon himself to save her from harm. Now, I had never heard that story before. I had no idea about that, but that is amazingly touching. Amazingly. Bach was also her manager. Yeah, I knew that. But anyway, the U.S. Embassy of Australia I mean, here's the U.S. Embassy of Australia. Okay, so there, I'm going to take the music out just so I don't get, that copyright thing. But this is in honor of Tina Turner, we decided to master the Nutbush, which is the Nutbush, one of her songs. Australia's unofficial national dance. So these people are dancing to Nutbush, which is, there's another name, the full name of the song is blanking out on me. So anyway, Tina Turner, fearless and fabulous. So this is one of her stages on one of her concert tours, where she had this runway out above the audience, had no rails or anything. She just went out there and danced right down the whole thing. Anyway, there's a picture of her with Mick Jagger. I'm so saddened by the passing of my wonderful friend Tina Turner. She was truly an enormously talented performer and singer. She was inspiring, warm, funny, generous. She helped me so much when I was young, and I will never forget her. That's Mick Jagger. So lots of people, Wu-Tang for Children, lots of people, Nancy Sinatra. I mean, you go down this thing. What I'll do is, as always, I put links in the description at the end of the show, and also I drop it in the chat during the outro, so if you don't want to wait for me to do it, put it in the description later, because I don't always remember to do that. Yeah, so Tina Turner, fabulous icon. May she rest in peace. Okay. All right, let's move on. Let's get into some of the news because that's what we're supposed to be doing here. Good morning, Sully209. Good morning, Aaron Meredith. I see you both in chats over there. So yesterday, a couple things happened, and I'll get a little deeper into this in a minute, but Ron DeSantis went on Twitter, Twitter Spaces with Elon Musk and some other people, and announced that he was running for president. So that was trending yesterday, and I'll put a link here. So on Twitter, he put his little message. Is his message have music in it? It kind of does. But we'll do it anyway. Let's check out the message he put on Twitter real quick, because I want to see this. I haven't seen the whole thing.
Our border is a disaster. Crime infests our cities. The federal government makes it harder for families to make ends meet, and the president flounders. Success is attainable, and freedom
if you have an observation, you'd like to make it
right. The ship requires restoring sanity to our society,
hang on.
normalcy to our community.
I apologize. Brain fart on my part. Let's start this over. Okay.
Our border is a disaster. Crime infests our cities. The federal government makes it harder for families to make ends meet, and the president flounders. But decline is a choice. Success is attainable, and freedom is worth fighting for. Righting the ship requires restoring sanity to our society, normalcy to our communities, and integrity to our institutions. Truth must be our foundation, and common sense can no longer be an uncommon virtue. In Florida, we proved that it can be done. We chose facts over fear, education over indoctrination, law and order over rioting and disorder. We held the line when freedom hung in the balance. We showed that we can and must revitalize America. We need the courage to lead and the strength to win. I'm Ron DeSantis, and I'm running for president to lead our great American comeback.
Okay, so interesting ad. Presentation, I give it a 6. And don't get me wrong, I like Ron DeSantis. I think he's potentially great presidential material. Right now, maybe not. I don't know. I certainly would choose him over the dementia-addled sundowner we have in the White House now. What which is funny. Good morning, Jack Gunsky, too. I see you there over in Rumble. Well, the funny thing about yesterday, and what someone just said, oh yeah, he even has technical difficulties when I do something, right? They had a major technical difficulty on Spaces yesterday because they had about 700,000 people in the Spaces, and it kind of clanked out, and then they came back and it was like 150,000, whatever. Oh wow, here's Joe Biden's team tweeted for Joe Biden, no matter what happens, you can hear Ron DeSantis' agenda loud and clear. Now, here's the thing about Ron DeSantis isn't going to be known for his amazing personality. He's somewhat of a technocrat, but he's also one of these people who is hard to mess with from a press standpoint because he remembers everything that he does, and he kind of has almost a photographic memory. So when the press kind of messes with him, he just will stop them in their tracks and tell them what the facts are, and will get them right every time, which is kind of interesting because, our friend with the funny hair, who I like too, and I think was a much better president than the dementia-addled sundowner we have now, while he was... I would call him, and you've heard me say it many times, I think he was a jackass. I think he was a very good president, too, despite the fact that he's a jackass. Bill Clinton was a jackass. Not in the same way that Donald Trump was, but Bill Clinton was a jackass. But Bill Clinton was smart enough to co-opt a certain agenda from another party that kept him successful and kept an economic boom that was going for 10 years. With one minor recession that was over before that election, which the news failed to tell you. And he was able to continue it. And certain events beyond him after that had made our economy shambles. Certainly not events controlled by a certain, well, and some would say it wasn't controlled by that next president. But anyway, so I don't have a problem with a jackass being the president of the United States. Sometimes you need a jackass to be the president of the United States. So there's going to be some different style. There going to be some style differences. Now, some people who don't like Ron DeSantis would say he's a jackass too. I don't see it as much. I think he's just more, he just doesn't let shit go by. So anyway, it was interesting. I didn't listen to the Twitter space. I know that I'm hearing everybody talk about it where, some people say it came off robotic and awkward or whatever. And some people are saying, the Lincoln Project chimed in. Here's a good one. Here's a good one from the Lincoln Project. Don't be fooled. Ron DeSantis didn't break the internet because he's popular. This happened because Elon Musk sucks at his job. Oh, well, whatever. But lots of people talking about it. I'm going to talk about it less because I didn't listen to it. So I don't know for a fact what happened. But again, at some point there was 700,000 people there. Good morning, Balin Bobby. Somewhat or upwards of 700,000 people in the Twitter Spaces, which I think might have been the largest Spaces event. I think the moderator made a mistake and said, "Oh, this is the largest live internet event ever." No, there's some internet events on Twitter, or not Twitter, on YouTube and TikTok, whatever. They've had 15 million people in that at a time. But Twitter's not known as a video live streaming platform. And so, but I think what he meant to say that it was the largest Twitter Spaces event. So anyway, that's that. Moving on. Let's move into one story this is an update to a story. Okay. So I told you the story about, what's the girl's name? Amanda. The hell's her name? The poet girl. What the hell was it? Well, let me just tell you this. Banning is one of the Twitter trends today, right? And it's and a lot of it has to do with the girl whose poem supposedly got banned, right? Amanda Gorman, that's her name. And so people are talking about this. Hey, Ducky, my friends, what a day. Satan banning poetry. Satan banning poetry. That's a joke on DeSantis, right? And one parent could get my poetry banned from classrooms, and yet one country can't ban assault rifles from massacring them. That's what Amanda Gorman said, right? Well, it turns out that Miss Gorman's poem wasn't banned. What? The poem wasn't banned? So let me go into. I gotta find. I didn't pull this up, but I should have pulled this up earlier. So apparently the. I apologize. I made a mistake here. Let me pull it up. Oh, okay. So this is the tweet I saw, because this is an account that I just happened upon that followed me the other day. I think because I was in their Twitter space, and they made this statement here. As soon as it pops up. What problem are we solving by removing books from institutions of public education? If the bar is, quote, not age appropriate or developmentally appropriate, does The Hill We Climb by Amanda Gorman match those criteria? Okay. What are the consequences of removing that book or poem, whatever? What are the benefits of continuing student access? Does an attempt to remove everything that bothers us from schools or society in general amplify polarization and animosity? Well, apparently that book wasn't removed. So I replied to this person just saying, first of all, here, let's open this real quick. Here's Miami-Dade schools who address this. In order to ensure accurate information, MDCPS is compelled to clarify that the book titled The Hill We Climb by Amanda Gorman was never banned or even removed from one of our schools. Now remember, this only happened in one school, by the way. It was never removed. The book is available in the media center as a part of the middle grades collection. Aha! What? I heard it was banned. In fact, here, such a bad rep that this now will be attached to the third largest school district in the nation. Such a shame to coalesce to a few bigots, aiding and abetting them in their bigotry. Wow. It wasn't even banned. It wasn't censored or anything. They just moved it to the middle school section of the library. And I asked the question, does moving a book from one section of a library to another section of the same library in a single school where this came up constitute removing a book? I have no idea what the criteria was for that school to move it to a higher grade level section. It seems strange to me. But is determining what materials will and will not be in schools and school libraries the equivalent of banning books? I say no. That's bullshit. Now, apparently I didn't notice they replied to me. Let's see. That's a great point you bring up. Something we discussed as we looked into this issue. The media makes it unclear, which is another part of this discussion. You see many headlines saying ban, but when you dig into the article, you'll find that it was moved and access was restricted. Well, really, it wasn't even restricted. It just got moved to the middle school part of the library. That doesn't mean access is restricted. Do you think that in a school that's a single school with a single library that has recommended books, do you think that elementary school kids, the younger kids, couldn't go over to the other side of the library and check out any of those books? Is it restricted? Is there ropes and a security guard and metal detectors where those little kids can't go into that middle school section of the library? I'm curious. I doubt it. I doubt it very much. So anyway, that's a little fascinating little ditty to go along there. So anyway, I'll leave those links in the description. So it wasn't banned after all. Amazing. And it's funny because when you read articles about it, right? Remember, this happened in a single school where someone asked, whatever, the parent complained about it, which was dumb anyway. I don't think there's anything wrong with this poem. And why it's middle school, I don't know. I don't care. They decided to move it to the middle school section of the building, right? But there are 130-some thousand schools that house kids from K through 12 in the United States of America. One school in Florida in the Miami-Dade School District had an inquiry about the book, and it got moved to a middle school section of the library. And all you hear about is Florida banned this book. Well, first of all, even if they would have removed it from the school, okay, even if they would have removed it from the school, which they didn't, but let's say they did, does that mean Florida banned the book? Does that mean that when you ban a book, that means it's not available to anyone anywhere? Okay. For example, the TQI books about, that had illustrations of sexual acts that they removed from those schools. They didn't even ban those. They just removed them from children's book sections. So is that banning a book if you take a book that has explicit illustrations of sexual acts out of a school? Is that banning the book? Does that mean that no one, even the state, would be even allowed to even order that book on Amazon? Good morning, Nomad.
Stop. Hammer time.
Does it mean that you've banned the book? Or is it just the fact that you maybe have certain choices of what books are within your school curriculum and within your school libraries, and you have to make some limited choices based on your budgets and whatever, and maybe perhaps books with sexually explicit drawings and verbiage maybe shouldn't be in the book where third graders can check them out. They might be in this. They might even still have some of those books in the high schools, for all I know. I don't care. Certainly, there are books that you've read at some point in your, teen years that had some pretty racy stuff in it that you could just go, yeah, you read it. It wasn't banned, but you still read it. So anyway, it's just crazy. It's just it's insanity. Good morning, Special Can Acid. And remember, these are the people bitching about moving this book to a middle school. Remember, these are the same people who wanted Dr. Seuss banned and did ban Dr. Seuss from multiple schools around the country. The same ones that banned To Kill a Mockingbird because it had a couple N-bombs in it. And they're saying that these people censored something. Now, speaking of Amanda Gorman, I will use a quote from Amanda Gorman that is probably appropriate for those people who are talking about these books being banned. And the famous words, and it wasn't in this particular poem, but I know this is a quote from Amanda Gorman. Go fuck yourselves. Not you, them. Not, you know what I meant. You know. So anyway, let's move on. Oh, and here's a good article at Hot Air if you want to read about it a little more. And this one's a Hot Air article that is available. Another MSM meltdown, the DeSantis Florida book ban that was none of these, okay? Did Florida Ron DeSantis embark on a crusade to ban a poem read at Joe Biden's inauguration for public schools? As it turns out, the incident in question had nothing to do with DeSantis and nothing to do with the state of Florida. And poet Amanda Gorman's book never left the one school library in question. Yeah, that's what we just said. So anyway, you can get a little deeper into the article here. I'll just leave it in the links. Moving on. Newt Gingrich is trending this morning now. It's fan-freaking-tastic. Newt Gingrich is trending, and I have nothing against Newt Gingrich. I think he did a wonderful job in the 90s when the Congress, 92, 94, whatever, got Bill Clinton to co-opt their agenda and keep the country running like clockwork with jobs and money and all that shit, right? However, Newt Gingrich is trending on Twitter because some people say that he's admitting that stupid people vote Republican. Now, it's an amazing little clip that they took. Let me find the clip that, here's the one that they are talking about, right? Oh, first Fox News calls MAGA cousin fuckers. Now, Newt Gingrich basically calls Trump and y'all dumb as a box of rocks. Can't believe I'm agreeing with Newt Gingrich. So here's what Newt actually said, that they're saying that Newt called Republican voters stupid. I hate to break this to you. Well, let me. I will clarify how they seem to interpret this and how I interpret it. Now, here we go.
Ronald Reagan.
Hang on, right here. Here we go.
This may seem like an odd comment, but I think that he's very, very smart. He clearly did very well at Yale.
So he's talking about Ron DeSantis getting him the race, and then he goes to talk about. Well, let's let him continue. Good morning. Why are you so angry, by the way?
Clearly capable of thinking about big ideas. But, Ronald Reagan was probably equally smart, but he also understood that he had to communicate so that everyday folks understood it.
Now, wait for it. So Ronald Reagan had to communicate in a way so everyday people understood it.
But he also understood that he had to communicate so that everyday folks understood it. One of Trump's great advantages is he talks at a level where 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade educations can say, oh, yeah, I get that. I understand it. And in fact, Trump has now made the Republican Party the party of working Americans in a way that probably hasn't been true for almost 100 years.
Okay, now, to this person and several other people, they're saying that Trump can talk to people in a way and reach people who normally don't understand all the bullshit, as in working Americans, how working Americans are now leaning towards the Republican Party, right? This person interprets it as basically calls Trump and y'all dumb as a box of rocks. I can't believe I'm agreeing with Newt Gingrich. Really? That's quite interesting that you phrase it that way. Because what Newt said is he connects with working people. That's what he said, so that more people can understand. Okay? So basically, all these people are saying that, oh, Newt said he could talk, that he said Trump voters are stupid. See, another one. Here's Newt admitting that stupid people vote Republican. Really? So you're calling working people, working class people, who may not talk in your lofty, college-educated, hoity-toity, Ivy League way, you just think they're stupid? Is that what he said? Or does he just talk to people who talk plain English? Interesting. That's who are the elitists? Who are the elitists? Do you think that helps you? Does that help you gain favor with the voters who are the biggest, probably, the biggest class of voters, working people? Huh? That's fascinating. That's why Newt Gingrich is trending. All right. Let's move on. Now, here's one of those names when you hear it's trending, everyone goes, what? We just lost Tina Turner, and now James Earl Jones is trending. Hello, Stefania. What's up? Nice to see you. And also, those ain't real, dude. Good morning. Which has no relation to Stefania. I have no idea. I'm not going there. Anyway, James Earl Jones is trending. And I don't know why. And sometimes you just don't want to know why. Well, let me just reassure you, James Earl Jones is not dead. I have no idea why he's trending. Okay, nobody else does either. Since James Earl Jones is trending, now's a good time to point out he and Madge Sinclair played a royal couple in 2 films. Oh, I didn't realize Madge Sinclair was the voice of Nala. Or was it Nala? What's the Lion King's mother's name? Is it Nala? No, Nala's the girlfriend. Anyway, hello, Annalyn. So, and then there's people checking Twitter to make sure James Earl Jones is okay. Everyone running downstairs. Me waking up, checking Twitter to make sure James Earl Jones is okay. And inevitably, if I scroll long enough, the Denzel Washington meme will pop up. George thought he wanted a darker voice, so he hires a guy born in Mississippi, raised in Michigan, who stuttered And that's the voice. That's me. I lucked out. I got the job that paid me $7,000. Okay, that's James Earl Jones. Everyone looking. Where's the? There it is. There it is. Oh, you can't even see this. I'm sorry. I apologize. Here's the beam. Here's the beam. Whenever James Earl Jones is, when someone you don't want, hope nobody's weird and nobody weird. Hope nobody's dead. James Earl Jones. Sarabi. Yes, she played Sarabi. So nobody knows why James Earl Jones is trending. A lot of Lion King references and whatnot. But, and everyone gets mad when, here he goes. There's everyone going to see the Twitter to see why James Earl Jones is trending. Okay. Nobody knows why. He just is. So, but he's not dead. Thank goodness. And, that'll be another one of those icons from my childhood, from that basically my entire life. James Earl Jones has been an icon because I remember movies during the 70s, and he's been a part of something almost every year since. That voice. Oh, in fact, I use that voice. I try to, even though I'm not even close, but every time I say, "This is CNN," that's me doing my best James Earl Jones impression. So there you go. Star Wars was released on today's date, 1977. So there you go. That's probably why James Earl Jones is trending, because he's the voice of the man, Darth Vader. Luke, use the Force, Luke. That voice. So anyway, there you go. That's why James Earl Jones is trending. Also trending this morning, Memorial Day. Now, it's not Memorial Day yet, but Memorial Day weekend's coming up in the United States for those who are not from the States. And so I think one of the things that about Memorial Day, there's a couple things you need to know if you're from the United States. Here's some flag etiquette, okay? For those of you who will be flying the flag on Memorial Day, the flag code dictates that your flag should be displayed at half staff until noon. After that time, the flag should be raised to the top of the staff. If you have a flag that hangs on a flagpole on your house or something, you take it, instead of that 45-degree angle one, you put it at the straight angle one until noon, and then you put it up. So that's some flag etiquette. But I think the reason Memorial Day is trending, one, because it tends to trend the weekend of Memorial Day. So let's see. There's a couple different things here. But one is this video I just saw on Twitter that kind of what's the word? It commemorates the feelings some people have about how retail outlets deal with things like Memorial Day. So this is a guy who's in a Target store upset about how Target is memorializing Memorial Day. And here it is.
Memorial Day weekend. Where is the display supporting and showing homage to our men and women, the military? There's nothing.
You got some
There's
rainbow stuff up there, friend.
Made in China, patriotic pieces of shit here. Where's that? Last week was Cop Week. Did we put a display up supporting our police? No, we didn't. Target. What about November?
Well, they moved all the gays,
November, do we get the
LBGT stuff
display that says
back.
proud to be a veteran? No, we do not.
Is there anything I can help you with?
Yeah,
I don't know you to scream. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, I just talk loud.
Yeah.
Got
I
the
hope
rainbow
that
stuff up
corporate
here,
is
though.
watching this
I just need you to lower
because this is bullshit. No problem with the pride section. Take the kids out of it. That's what you have to do. Get rid of the kids shit that doesn't belong in here. You cater to 0.1%, and 99% of us buy this shit in this store, but that's coming to an end. Corporate better change their fucking ways. They're gonna go down like
He's heated.
fertilizer.
He's heated, man.
That's all right. You want to call the cops? I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'll
right.
be doing whatever the fuck I want.
All right. So anyway, that's not the whole thing, but you can watch the rest anyway. Good for him. He is being annoying. He's quite annoying. So anyway, yeah, it's for. Oh, no, don't do that. I almost hit the wrong button again. Right. Memorial Day is for memorializing those who lost, who we lost. Not for, there's a Veterans Day when you honor veterans. Memorial Day is when you honor those who lost. But you know that at least they could have something there for Memorial Day. You know, I'm sure that, and what's funny, so Memorial Day is on the 29th this year. And it'll be interesting to see if Google puts up a Google Doodle for Memorial Day. Because I guarantee you on the 1st of June, there will be a Google Doodle for Pride Month, right? The rainbows will be out in force. But do they put something out for the people who, who perished in service of this country? Or just even the ones, and on Memorial Day, you think of all veterans, whether they passed during a war or, or they passed since, So Memorial Day is for veterans who are passed. Okay. All right, let's move on. Citibike Karen. Remember Citibike Karen? This is an update to a story too. In fact, it's a double update. Okay. So I remember the nurse, she was trying to get a bike, a Citibike, those rent-a-bikes, the barcode, the UPC, whatever, UPC code, and you rent it and you ride it, and then you click it into a new station, and then you pay for whatever you ride, right? And there was a big viral story, right? First of all, it was the Karen was trying to steal a bike from 5 black kids, and tried to weaponize her tears. Okay, that was the first story. Then it came back that she had a receipt for the bike that she was trying to ride, and they were blocking her from riding it. So now she's suing a lot of the different outlets that were calling her, quote, Citibike Karen, okay? And, and defaming her and doxing her and people harassing her at her home, right? Then, yesterday, someone put out her sister, the kid's sister, who supposedly took the bike from, put out a video claiming that her brother was the one who was wronged here, right? So we're into this story. The hell's going on there? Oh, it's only on your screen, not on mine. So now the sister puts out a story claiming something else. And now here's this part of the story.
The only reason why Sarah Jane Comrie was able to produce this receipt for this bicycle is because she jumped over this young man standing right here who had his hands on the handlebars. Now listen. Jumped over him, impales herself on his bike, and scans the QR code.
Impales herself? Oh, that sounds kind of scary. Scans the QR code to begin the ride. Okay, this is what she's saying. Now listen to this, because she's now starting to say something different.
In the ride. How did all of this happen, and how do I know what happened? Because that young man is my little brother.
Well, no. You don't know what happened because your little brother. You know what he's telling you and whatever. So we'll get there.
560-3915 was in my brother's possession from St. Nicholas Ave in Manhattan Ave all the way to First Avenue,
okay.
East 30th Street, from the hours of 6:33 p.m. to 7:19 p.m.
So he had the bike.
At 7:19 p.m., they docked the bikes. Sarah Jane.
Very important here. 7:19 p.m., they docked the bike. They docked the bike at 7:19 p.m.
Comrie walks up to them, asks, "Hey guys, can I use one of you guys' bikes?" She says this as there are other bikes sitting idle at the bike rack.
Why does that make sense? If there's other bikes there, why would she ask them if she wanted that particular bike? Does that make sense? Again, this is being a third-hand story from the sister, right? They're getting their story straight, it seems like to me. Why would you, if there are other bikes available, why would she go up to 5 kids in front of a bike and try to take the one they have rather than one of the other bikes? If there's all these other bikes available, that seems a little weird to me. Does that seem a little weird to you? Next.
They politely declined.
I'm sure they politely declined. Yes, she went up to 5 kids, just 5 kids, random kids who seemed already had a bike, and she tried to take theirs instead of take one of the other ones that were available. I'm doubting this story, but anyway.
That she's
Now remember too, 519 was when he docked the bike.
pregnant, and they still declined. Then, with my brother standing next to the bike with his hands on the handlebars.
Oh, really? Okay, let's figure this one out. Remember the time, whatever 19 was that time.
Jumps onto the bike.
She jumps out of the bike while his hands are on the handlebars. Does that make sense? What? Really? There's other bikes available, but she jumps on the bike that this one kid is holding around 4 other kids. She tried to take the one that he's sitting on from the 4 other kids. Does that make sense? Don't make sense to me.
Sits on the bike and scans the QR code.
Oh, so then she scans the code, right? Now remember, what time? 7:19. He docked the bike at 7:19.
Beginning her ride. Mind you, the bike was in my brother's possession at the
It was in his possession, but I thought it was docked. Docked means you put it back. How would it be in his possession?
this time. So this screenshot is from 6 minutes after the previous ride ended.
6 minutes after the previous ride ended? You mean he stood there holding the bike for 6 minutes after he docked it? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? That doesn't make sense. Anyway, this screenshot's from 6 minutes later.
You can see 7:25 p.m.
Oh, 7:25 p.m. So for 6 minutes he stood there holding the bike? Why did he dock it for 6 minutes? Did he dock it and they walked away?
Previous ride ended 7:19 p.m.
Again, 6 minutes later. So the previous ride ended 7:19 p.m. So he was done with the bike. He docked it. That's what normal people would think. Right? You just, what?
These gentlemen, these boys, did not steal this bike from Sarah Jane Comrie. She stole the bike from them, then proceeded to weaponize her whiteness.
How would she have stolen the bike from them if it was docked and she went and got the bike? Okay, now.
Video started being recorded at 7:24 p.m., close to 7:25.
Okay, so they started doing the video at 7:24 when she went to go get the bike. 5 minutes after he docked it. 5 minutes after he docked it, she went to go get the bike. Probably wasn't even standing by it, was he?
My brother's ride that was in the previous screenshot starts at 7:25.
Oh, so she went to go get the bike. She scanned the QR code. And remember, in this incident, what happened? They pushed the bike and redocked it. So she had a receipt for 7:24. They redocked it, which ended her ride, and then scanned it for a new ride at 7:25. Interesting. Hello, Tyler Alexander. Thank you for sponsoring the show. And you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, Tyler Alexander. Dropping a small bullet in the tip jar, adding to that vacation, that gas fund for this trip we're taking. That we probably shouldn't be taking. Anyway, X to doubt. I doubt that it is his sister. I doubt the whole thing. Leftists aren't afraid to lie to make their stories true. Fuck this bitch. Fuck her brother and his friends, and fuck anyone that believes this bullshit. Well, we're getting there. We're getting there. Thank you, Tyler Alexander, for sponsoring the show. You are a great American. So again, 5 full minutes after he docked the bike, she goes to take out the bike. They start harassing her, and then redock the bike, which turns it off, and then check out the bike again.
The initial ride, where my brother rode the bike all the way over to this bike dock, ended at 7:19 p.m.
So she ended the ride, and she picked up a bike that was available. What? And then they started harassing her like it's his bike?
There were a number of bikes at the bike rack already there when she arrived.
Then why didn't she take one if they were already on that bike? 5 people standing around a bike. That didn't even make sense. Now, there's someone who I got a lot of this information from that I have a video linked to this in the links, so you'll see it in a minute.
She still proceeded to try to take the bike from my brother. Help, help, help. Trying to make it seem like these boys stole this bike.
Well, if she paid for a bike and they tried to tell her that she can't take the bike and then redock at the ending her ride, how is... Yes, 7:19. I think it says 7:19 p.m. It doesn't say 1919, but yes, 1919 would be p.m. and so it's 7:19 p.m. It says p.m. on the ticket.
From her, the bike is on my brother's account.
The bike is on their brother's account after they redocked it, and they checked it out again after they forced her off the bike. So he docked it at 7:19. She saw a bike docked and took hers out at 7:24. They harassed her, redocked it at 7:24 or whatever, the end of her receipt, and then checked it out at 7:25 after they redocked her bike. Okay, so that's how they end that. So basically, she's kind of, in a way, proving the point. Now, someone made a great video about this that is, what's his name? Actual Justice Warrior, basically making fun of the guy who thinks he has it all figured out, who made this video down here. Well, would you look at that? Receipts. You want to be real? Citibike Karen situation has been damaging to that young man. So this guy's claiming that this was so damaging to him that he should be suing her. I maybe want to think twice about that one, dude. So anyway, and in fact, Nate the lawyer says, when Citibike Karen provided a receipt with no time, they were called suspect and were reliable. The men now provide receipts with no date, but we're supposed to accept them as true and reliable. Stop the bullshit. Show us the dates on the receipts. Okay, so anyway. So a lot of people think they have it figured out.
The only reason why Sarah Jane Comrie was able to
It's going to be very interesting to see where this one goes. So I would say watch this video. It'll be in the links today. Let's move on. Also trending on Twitter today, Mark Levin. Basically, Mark Levin is going to have Donald Trump re-airing a video with Donald Trump, an interview, on Monday, on Memorial Day at 8 p.m. Eastern on Life, Liberty, and Levin. Oh, I'm sorry, Memorial this Sunday, not Monday. Okay. But Mark Levin is getting a little flack on the internet from Trump supporters. And so here's, and by the way, he also did an interview with Ron DeSantis on Rumble. But apparently, Trump reports getting blasted by some MAGA people for posting a link to Ron DeSantis's donation page. Now, Mark Levin, who hosts Life, Liberty, and Levin on Fox News, tweeted a link to Ron DeSantis' presidential campaign fundraising page shortly after the Florida governor announced his candidacy on Wednesday. The post did not go over well with supporters of former President Donald Trump, who is also running for the Republican nomination. DeSantis officially announced the glitch-ridden Twitter Spaces event that was delayed by about 20 minutes because the platform servers couldn't handle the uptick in traffic. While DeSantis supporters cast the crash as a testament to the governor's popularity, one former Twitter employee told CNN that Spaces is essentially a prototype. It's a beta test that never ended, the source said. Not long after the event concluded, DeSantis appeared on Fox News Tonight, made his pitch to viewers soon after. Levin, who has 3.5 million Twitter followers, tweeted a link to the governor's Win Red donations page. Levin's tweet was not well received by paid blue checkmark supporters of Trump. Now, that's interesting because not all are paid blue checkmark supporters of Trump. A lot of the paid blue check marks are even lefties, believe it or not. Anyway, Mark, so sad. F no, tweeted another, blah, 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 blah. So people were pissed off, which prompted Mark Levin to tweet this out. We link every candidate who comes on the show. As any regular listener knows, media create and other crazies are pathetic. Luckily, Luciano here is among the sleaziest of them all. And that would be the Mediaite person right here who wrote the article. So Levin says that they tweet out or provide links to every nominee who who comes on the show. They link every candidate who comes on the show. So there you go. Controversy averted, kind of, maybe, anyway. Anyway, but if you want to see Ron DeSantis's interview with the, what do they call him? They call him the Great One or something like that, Mark Levin. I'll link that on the, I'll link it in the links today, because I am an equal opportunity purveyor of candidates and whatever. Any candidate who I talk about, including on the left, I'll give you stuff that they did, whatever. It might be goofy if it's Joe Biden, but that's kind of, whatever. Now, let's get to the main topic today, because yesterday we were talking about the hit pieces coming and going, and here are the greatest hits and hit pieces. And The Atlantic has David Duke trending. Now, we mentioned David Duke at the beginning of the show. Clifford, what are you doing over there? Clifford, go upstairs. Go. You need to come over here. This is my dog, Clifford. You can't see him, but he's down here being friendly. Anyway, David Duke is trending on Twitter, which you're just like, okay, which David Duke? Is it the basketball player who plays for the New York or Brooklyn Nets, or is it David Duke, that David Duke, who, by the way, endorsed, didn't he endorse Biden last election? I mean, Biden had all the, maybe David Duke was watching old footage of Joe Biden talking about racial jungles and shit like that, and the crime bills and stuff. Maybe David Duke just lost his mind and decided to go Joe Biden. But show the dog? Well, I can't. I don't have, my camera's kind of fixed in a place where if I move it too much, I mess up my lighting. What are you doing? Did I spill some food down there or something? I probably did. Anyway, so David Duke is trending. And I was like, well, what could this be for? And I found out. And it was for the headline that I have in the links. Why is this doing this? Oh, God. Okay, unfortunately, you have to go with the archive version because Vanity Fair sucks. So here's the headline that Vanity Fair chose to run yesterday when DeSantis was putting out his little Twitter Spaces on the Twitter internet thing. This is the headline. Report: Ron DeSantis will formally announce his 2024 bid with Elon Musk because apparently David Duke wasn't available. Holy shit. And that is not some Chinese guy who digs latrines. Holy shit. No, this is the Vanity Fair by someone named Bess Levin, who really hates Ron DeSantis with a passion. And let's just say that people weren't happy about it. So this is also Mediaite. Vanity Fair under fire for deranged headline comparing Elon Musk to infamous racist David Duke. That headline, it's amazing. Vanity Fair is being skewered for a story comparing Twitter owner Elon Musk to infamous Ku Klux Klan leader David Duke. Report: Ron DeSantis will formally announce his 2024 bid with Elon Musk because apparently David Duke wasn't available, read the over-the-top headline of this piece, which sparked criticism on Twitter and on cable news. Can't imagine. Although, I'm sure there's some people out there who praised it also. The article by Vanity Fair correspondent Bess Levin tackled Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and his expected announcement of a run for president during Twitter Spaces interview with Elon Musk because apparently other neo-Nazi sympathizers weren't available, Levin wrote. I don't know if she pronounces the same way as the Great One or not. She wrote that Musk has turned Twitter into a safe haven for hate speech. Oh, no! And made remarks about George Soros that the Anti-Defamation League said would embolden extremists. Oh, you mean he said George Soros did some political shit? Or is she talking about the comparison to supervillain? The supervillain, what's the supervillain? Magneto from the X-Men, the X-Men's nemesis. Musk has claimed he is a free speech warrior but may have pointed out the gaping holes in that self-assessment. Now, journalist Catherine Brodsky, who posted that she once dreamt of writing for Vanity Fair, tweeted that she's appalled. Appalled, but probably not shocked. In a lengthy and scathing criticism of the piece, Brodsky called out the comparison of Musk to a white supremacist. Do I have that? I think I might have that handy. Is this it? Here it is. Let's read Catherine Brodsky, how her description is. And it's similar to what a lot of other people are saying, but here it is. This was in the news section of Vanity Fair. Clifford, go. Go. Stop sniffing around. Anyway, this is in the news section of Vanity Fair, a paper that I once dreamt of writing for, and I'm appalled. Note phrases like, quote, David Duke wasn't available, end quote, and, quote, other neo-Nazi sympathizers weren't available, end quote. These are words being thrown around wildly and irresponsibly, like little verbal assassins. Target one's reputation. The article belongs in the slander op-ed section, certainly not the news section. One is entitled to criticize the decision. As the story's author, Bess Levin, has, even I have expressed some hesitation today because I think this move puts Twitter in the path of being an editorial media platform as opposed to just being a public town square. Further, there has been previous support expressed by Musk and Sachs for DeSantis in the past, so there's a perception of possible bias. But to compare Elon Musk to an actual white supremacist and former Grand Wizard of the KKK neo-Nazi sympathizer, all for interviewing a Republican presidential candidate, is not just bad journalism, it's outright slander, and it should be denounced by anyone who believes in actual journalism. The last line in Levin article states, quote, anyway, just as a reminder, a DeSantis presidency is as terrible a prospect as a Trump one. Even if I agree, this is her saying this, the bigger issue is she's telling her readers what to think, not the facts, not the news. It's not the job of a journalist, at least certainly not one whose story finds itself in the news section. See, this was not in the editorial section. So, lots of people talking about this. Zuby, the most journalism these days is partisan garbage. And that she replied to that one, why I'm struggling with my own career right now. I try to write what I can, but a lot of my writing ends up on my Substack, which is economically not sustainable for me. Paper, Vanity Fair is not a paper. Would think that an aspiring writer would know that. Yeah, I'm well aware if it's not. It's a magazine. I miswrote. I'm human. You depend on, quote, forbidden conversations with grifters and hucksters, just as Levin depends on portraying such conversations in the worst possible light. It's a circle jerk, but at least she isn't promoting harmful medical disinformation. What harmful medical disinformation she's answering everybody. What harmful medical disinformation have I promoted? So anyway, she's not the only one, though. Mark Hemingway, who I mentioned yesterday for something else, Vanity Fair having a normal one. Here's one. I'm no fan of Elon Musk, but this by Vanity Fair is obnoxious. I say that as someone who spent 3 years when Duke was at his zenith fighting against the Nazi son of a bitch. Liberty Report, wow, what a deranged headline by Vanity Fair. David Sachs, the media has lost its mind. More David Sachs, the media has lost its mind. And then someone says, if someone really sees David Duke and Elon Musk as comparable in some way, they're either crazy or incredibly ignorant. Either way, they certainly don't deserve to be writing for any sort of credible publication or even somewhere like Vanity Fair. Oh, touche. That's a good one. Here's Fox News' Harris Faulkner talking about it. How long was this?
It got nasty pretty quickly with the topic of race when Senator Tim Scott jumped into with his candidacy yesterday. 2 days ago, he did his first interview daytime after that yesterday. And it's interesting how quickly mainstream media will pounce on
pounce.
conservatives.
They
A Vanity
pounce,
Fair headline.
even though they
Ron
say
DeSantis will formally announce his 2024 bid with Elon Musk because apparently David Duke wasn't
it's
available.
so
Jason.
bad.
I mean, it's just so patently wrong. It's false. It's disgusting. It's why people hate politics. It's why a lot of good people don't run for politics. Ron DeSantis and Tim Scott are two of the finest Americans we have in this country. They have amazing
I wouldn't go that
stories.
far. They're cool, though.
Beautiful, wonderful families.
Uncle
it's
Tim,
just,
stop it.
You know, the story of Tim Scott rising up and his connection to his mom and everything that he's gone through. Ron DeSantis serving his nation, being a successful governor, successful congressman. You know, he's got a wife, 3 kids. His wife is fighting breast cancer. I mean, it doesn't get any more American than that.
Yeah.
And can't they just give
Wait,
him
whoa,
3
wait,
minutes
what?
to actually...
What? Wait a minute. I don't mean to make fun of Jason here, but fighting breast cancer is American as it gets. I know he didn't mean it that. I know he meant the whole package, right? I know he meant the whole package, but did that sound a little weird to you? It sounded a little weird to me, and I don't. You know, I agree with what he's saying, but just the phrasing didn't really seem kind of weird. Anyway, we don't need to read any more of that. Anyway, that is one of those hit pieces we were talking about yesterday. That you think this is like he just announced and they're doing that kind of shit. This is amazing. It's amazing. Unbelievable. All right. And that's all I got to say about that. If you really want to, let's see here. There's a lot of people talking about this. Here's let's do here's legal insurrection version. Let's check this out real quick. And then we'll what the hell? Oh, there we go. So, in legal insurrection, Vanity Fair, DeSantis chose Musk for a campaign announcement because apparently David Duke wasn't available. It's safe to say that panic and hysteria have officially set in among the Democrats and their allies in the media after reports Tuesday that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis would be formally announcing his campaign during a Twitter chat with the social media platform CEO Elon Musk. Because it's been obvious for months now that DeSantis was going to jump into the race, the usual suspects have been cracking out the hit pieces, including repeating warnings that DeSantis will be worse than fellow 2024 Republican contender and former President Donald Trump attempting to Kavanaugh DeSantis by digging into his high school yearbooks, outing him as a primitive pudding eater, declaring his candidacy over before he gets started, and attacking DeSantis' wife Casey using resources like Trump confidant Roger Stone. The common thing in all of the media's DeSantis bashing is that he's an intolerant bigot, is racist. Wait a minute, where is it? Where is it? Oh, I forgot where I have that one. There.
That's racist!
And hates transgender people, etc. In reality, he's anti-woke, anti-indoctrination, which is what really sends his critics to the fainting couches while clutching pearls every time DeSantis opens his mouth and sets their hair on fire in the process. The latest example comes from Vanity Fair, which previously pushed its own DeSantis is worse than Trump narrative back in January. This time around, they're suggesting DeSantis deliberately chose Musk for his announcement, not because he knew it would get millions of eyes on his campaign, but because he and Musk are neo-Nazi kindred spirits. Well, George Bush was Hitler, Romney will put you back in chains, Trump was the greatest threat to democracy. Eventually people will tire of the media who cried wolf, and then we have the headline right there. So, now this is an example from the piece, okay? Listen to this. Listen carefully. Listen up. All right? After many months of refusing to confirm what so many people already suspected, Ron DeSantis will reportedly announce that on Wednesday that he is running for president. And that's not all. He's said to be planning to formally jump into the 2024 race during a conversation on Twitter with Elon Musk because apparently other neo-Nazi sympathizers weren't available. Wow. So she's calling Elon Musk a neo-Nazi sympathizer. Really? I just don't. I'm confused. Now she continues, as NBC News notes, aligning with Musk and his 140 million followers could give DeSantis a significant boost. But there's also an obvious downside to teaming up with a guy who has said and done terrible things and who has turned Twitter into a safe haven for hate speech, given a new tome to Tucker the Great Replacement Theory Carlson, and made remarks about George Soros that the Anti-Defamation League said would embolden extremists. By the way, fuck the ADL. Anyway, just as a reminder, a DeSantis presidency is as terrible a prospect as a Trump one. Oh, goody. So, in just a few words, they managed to demonize pretty much every major conservative independent player that mainstream conservatives respect: DeSantis, Trump, Tucker, and Musk, while holding leftist defamation organizations like ADL in high regard. The translation here is that everyone on the right is an extremist, and that the minority groups Democrats need in order to win in 2024 should really be afraid or something. The problem for Democrats is that fewer and fewer people in those groups are buying those arguments anymore, something that is surprisingly enough was inadvertently admitted by CNN This Morning anchor Sarah Sidner during a Monday interview with NAACP President Derek Johnson on the group's blatantly partisan travel advisory for Florida. Now, Sidner pointed out not only did DeSantis get 58% of the Hispanic vote and 13% of the black vote in the Florida 2022 gubernatorial election, pretty impressive numbers for any GOP candidate, but that black and Hispanic business owners in Florida were doing extremely well. She reported that according to the Florida Chamber of Commerce, on the economic diversification front, in just the last few years, Florida has moved into the number one spot in the United States for black-owned businesses, and number two for Hispanic, and number two for women-owned businesses. So, blacks and Hispanics and women doing good in Florida. After Sidner read the chamber statement, she helpfully translated for Johnson, quote, well, let's hear it. Let's listen to this.
The NAACP has issued a new
this is the whole interview. We're not
traveling...
we're not doing the whole interview. We're not doing the whole interview. You can watch it on your own. It's in the story. Here's how she translated this for Sidner or for Johnson. When you hear those numbers, what they are saying is, look, African Americans and Hispanics are doing quite well here when it comes to running their own businesses and being able to make money here and being able to live decent lives. Because she would have to translate that for him because he doesn't want to hear it. He's like, she's saying that and he's like, la, 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 la. You know what I mean? So anyway, both segments are in the clip. The whole thing's in here. Now, even when notorious Trump DeSantis bashers at CNN are stating the inconvenient truths about Republicans, including Trump, making significant inroads with minority groups, you know you have lost the game. In any event, the DeSantis-Musk announcement partnership is a win-win for both of them, with DeSantis taking another opportunity to thumb his nose at traditional media outlets and Musk doing exactly what he intended to do when he bought Twitter in the first place. The purpose of the Twitter purchase revealed here, Musk attempting to marginalize the mainstream media. Perfect! At the time when 16% of the American public trusts the media. Like, that's not very many. And it's an opportune time to act. So, good for him. Bingo! Again, that's spot on. All right, let me finish up with a couple quickies here. Or a quickie. Apparently there's a university program linking Christians and Republicans to Nazis that has been given a grant by the Department of Homeland Security under an anti-terror initiative. Shall I repeat that? University program linking Christians, Republicans to Nazis, granted DHS funds under anti-terror initiative. Biden administration funding controversial efforts to treat conservative groups as radical, according to a watchdog. First on Fox, Biden administration is doling out taxpayer money through an anti-terrorism grant initiative to a university program that has explicitly lumped the Republican Party, as well as Christians and conservative groups, into the same category as Nazis, according to documents shared exclusively with Fox News Digital. The Media Research Center, a conservative watchdog group, obtained documents through the Freedom of Information Act request showing a Department of Homeland Security program meant to fight terrorism is funding a group whose work has explicitly targeted the American political right. The MRC outlined its findings in a report arguing what the group found warrants criminal prosecution. This terrorism task force is engaged in an active effort to demonize and eliminate Christian, conservative, and Republican organizations using federal taxpayer dollars, said Brent Bozell, founder and president of the Media Research Center. What we have uncovered calls for criminal prosecution. The American people need to know those who are abusing their positions in the federal government will be held accountable for their criminal behavior. Now, DHS Targeted Violence and Terrorism Prevention Grant Program provides funds to various public, private, and nonprofit institutions, which universities and county governments, such as universities and county governments, to establish or enhance capabilities to prevent targeted violence and terrorism. So basically, the grant applicant is supposed to be based in the U.S. Well, the Biden administration has awarded 80 grants through the TVTP totaling just under $40 million with an M. The lowest grant was $85,000, the highest was over $1.1 million, and the median was about $442,000. Now, the grant's recipients are prohibited from engaging in viewpoint discrimination, according to DHS. Oh, really? Well, wait a minute. Now, one of the grantees was the University of Dayton. Its Prevent OH program, which DHS awarded $352,000 to, quote, draw on the expertise of the University of Dayton faculty to fight domestic violence, extremism, and hate movements. The university's grant application to DHS linked a footnote to a controversial Dayton conference where an academic researcher presented a chart titled The Pyramid of Far-Right Radicalization. Wait a minute. Isn't that viewpoint discrimination? Whoa, wait a minute. That's the Republican Party, PragerU, Breitbart, Quillette. They got all these people. Among the organizations and movements displayed on the pyramid were the Republican Party, the Heritage Foundation, the American Conservative Union, Fox News, Breitbart News, the National Rifle Association, Prager University, Tea Party Patriots, the Make America Great Again movement, Pro-Police Blue Lives Matter movement, and Christian Broadcasting Network. Wow. Okay. The pyramid also included hate groups like The Base, a neo-Nazi paramilitary group, and the Daily Stormer, a pro-Nazi publication, seemingly comparing them to mainstream organizations such as the GOP. So you get what they're doing there. You see what they're doing, and they get a over $300,000 grant from the Department of Homeland Security. Wow, that's fan-freaking-tastic. So, a lot more details, a lot more information in this article, but you get the point. It's what do they call it in that committee? The weaponization of the federal government against certain types of people or some shit like that. Yeah, that's what they're talking about. Fantastic. All right, let's finish up with the heartwarming story, the feel-good story of the day. Okay, not really. So there was this Michigan man who shot an anti-abortion campaigner. I believe it was outside his home. Well, apparently, and you know, whatever your opinions on abortion is, it shouldn't matter here. But he shot this 75 or 84-year-old woman. He shot her, and apparently he's getting community service for shooting the woman. A Western Michigan man who pleaded no contest to shooting 84-year-old woman campaigning against abortion rights at his home was sentenced to community service on Thursday. I thought they wanted to stop gun violence. Wouldn't you want to arrest somebody who did this? Richard Harvey was ordered to complete 100 hours of community service. Judge Susan Hoseth Krieger also gave him a suspended jail sentence of 2 months and a delayed sentence of 1 year probation. Harvey pleaded no contest last month to felonious assault, careless discharge of a firearm causing injury, and reckless discharge of a firearm. Krieger also must pay $347.19 in restitution and cannot have any contact with the woman he shot, 84-year-old Joan Jacobson. Jacobson was shot September 20th at Harvey's home in Odessa Township, a community about 130 miles northwest of Detroit. Jacobson told investigators that she was asking a woman at the home to vote against a proposed constitutional amendment that would guarantee the right to abortion in the state when she was told to leave. The amendment later passed. Harvey said the shooting was accidental, but Jacobson has maintained she believes it was intentional after she argued with Harvey's wife, Sharon Harvey. Jacobson was treated at a hospital for a shoulder wound. Now, wait a minute. He shot the woman. Yes, he accidentally reached over his wife's shoulder and shot the woman in the shoulder. Do you think $347.19 will cover her hospital bill, even just for the emergency room? I'm guessing it probably didn't. And so there you go. Anyway, and that's how we're going to end today on that bright note. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to go. Welcome, or thank you for being here at the Morning Night Live. If you haven't done so yet, hit the like button, share the stream, and PDogNight.live to sponsor the show. Links in the chat and in the description down below. That's it. One more day before Lady Boomer and I drive off into the sunset. Actually, be into the sunrise since we're driving east, and we're leaving at 3 in the morning on Saturday. But thank you for those who enjoyed this today. And if you did enjoy it, well, I'm sorry. I'm just me. Hello, Jay Pylon, by the way. I noticed you popped into the chat too. And John Arnott. Great to see you here. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back tomorrow at my normal time, right around 10 o'clock Eastern. Thank you for being here in the Morning Night Live. My name's P-Dog Knight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.